Shalom. Call halal Yahweh Bashem Awashai Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen that look like the heathen. And to the Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in truth. And I'm gonna play a couple videos, a few minutes of them, and just bring out some scripture, a little bit of commentary on the second video. But what I'm going to tell you is that before I go into this first set of scriptures is that Yahweh is going to force Joel the third chapter. All right. And as this video begins to play, you're going to, it's all beginning to make itself. We know the end game. The question was, okay, well, what events are going to take place to get us there? Well, this current war is definitely going to escalate, but things in the Valley of Jehoshaphat are going to spark up again and draw more people back toward that region as well. Which is, you know, when you really think about it, everything that's going on now is really origins is coming out of that, you know, out of the Valley of Jehoshaphat in the first place, by them going over there way back when they invaded Afghanistan after the event that took place in 2011, which lost all credibility with the world and none of the facts add up. But, you know, that's a whole nother story. But let me go to the book of Joel, the third chapter. Get that on deck. And this is Joel 3 and 1, and it reads, "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem." All right, so the Lord's going to free us from this current, from this current captivity that we're in. "And I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the Valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them for my people and for my heritage, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." All right. And we know that we got scattered through slavery and that the heathens, mainly, Esau, Edom, Amalek, parted our land. Now, when you know history, you know, because my real teachers were the men of the Great Millstone, you know, the apostles and the elder bishops, and through study and teaching, we've learned that without a shadow of a doubt, that the people in Turkey and the people in Israel are actually from they're all Khazarians. They're all from the Khazarian Empire, which is where all this conflict is going on in Ukraine. All right, that whole area was the Khazarian Empire. So it makes sense why, you know, you got a Nazi the Azov fighting in Ukraine, and then you had Israelis going over there to fight with them, you know, which I thought was strange. That was just the weirdest thing to me, you know, because, you know, the Israelis are very anti-Nazi, you know, and anybody that supports Nazi anything is labeled anti-Semitic, and, you know, that's just fact. And I just found it weird that America and the state of Israel was supporting the Ukrainian units that are fighting there in Ukraine right now. I just found that strange, but it all makes sense when you look at their origins, because the people of Turkey and the people of Israel are literally the same people. They split the same way that the northern and the southern kingdom divided. All right, and just like you have within the real Israel, you had many of the Israelites that became Muslim. Those were all the Moors, Portugal and Spain, during the Dark Ages in the medieval time. Those were Israelites who had, you know, and the evidence of that is that even on the slave records, you know, that you can get from the Jewish ship owners, from those slave records, the slaves had Hebrew names and they had Muslim names, proving what I just said was true. This is something you can go look up for yourself. All right, but nevertheless, getting back to Amalek, or back to the Khazars, you know, they divided as well, and a big portion of them became Jewish to avoid conflict with the Christians and the Muslims, and then there was a portion of them that became Muslim, and those are the ones that went into Turkey. All right, so now Turkey is basically going against America and NATO by invading Syria, as we're going to play some video to prove that. Now that it's like, okay, so this is how the Valley of Jehoshaphat goes back into it, because NATO is fractured, extremely fractured. They're making all these moves, but NATO's not strong together. NATO's on a verge. NATO's not tight at all, not like you think. Some of the NATO nations are rocking hard together, but that's why the scripture says, you know, the metal with the clay. All right, they're not going to stick together. They're gonna fall apart. All right, so let me play some of this video now, and then we'll finish that Joel.
In Turkey, bordering Syria. Erdogan, we will not give U.S. permission we will not get U.S. permission for a new attack on Syria. Turkey will not wait for the permission of the United States to launch a new attack on Syria.
Oh, you can see the name of the video. This is Off Grid Farming with Paul and Adrian. It's called Breaking News: Turkey's War with NATO. ... More threats from Russia. So please don't put in the comment board, on the comment board, what's the name of the video. It's right there.
Syria, said President Recep Erdogan, according to statements broadcast by the Turkish media. We cannot fight terrorism by waiting for permission from anyone, the Turkish president told a group of journalists on his return visit from Azerbaijan. What we do...
Now, could it be because there are different minerals and things in Syria? Could it be that Turkey wants to get them for themselves and not share them with NATO or America? I don't know. Inquiry minds would like to know. But clearly, NATO and America is not happy with this decision about Turkey going into Syria on its own.
What will we do if the United States does not do its part in the fight against terrorism? We will do it alone, he said in response to a warning from Washington. SDF representative says we are ready to defend our territories.
So, that being, what I wanted to share with you. All right, there's no stability within NATO at all. All right, within the West. Okay? So back into Joel. It says, I'm going to start at verse 2 again. It says, Joel 3:2, and I will gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people, for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. So the whole purpose of all this is to gather the nations to the valley of Jehoshaphat so that the Lord can plead with them. And he's going to plead with them with fire. He's going to destroy them. And it's all being done for the controversy of Zion, because these people refuse to acknowledge who we are and let us be, all right, or let us free, okay? And they have cast lots for my people and have given a boy for a harlot and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. Yeah, what have they ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon and all the coasts of Palestine? Will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? Because you have taken my silver and my gold and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that you might remove them far from their borders. All right? And they have done exactly that. Okay? And I'm going to go to this next video, and we'll finish with this Joel. So right here, Prepper Nation, stock food now. This is your final warning. That's the video we're going to watch now. And we're going to go to like the 6-minute mark. What the heck is all this? Skip. Play the damn video. Actually, I'll let the first 3 minutes play or so.
and subscribe this week. I'm not sure when that's going to be yet to be up this morning. I mean, there's just so much going on, from Kamala Harris going after the guns. I wanted to talk about the WHO, and I probably will at some point this week, because a lot of people are confused on that. I may have to cover that on Rumble. I'm not sure yet. This morning, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an update of Russia and Ukraine, and I'm going to explain to you why, what exactly to expect over there in the coming weeks, and why it's important to us as preppers and also as folks here in the United States. So I've got a map set up. There we go. It worked. It worked. So hopefully you can see the cursor moving around. I'm not quite sure here, but hopefully it's working. Again, not tech savvy. So this is a recent map of the war in Ukraine. Let me see here. Yep, the war in Ukraine. This is from Al Jazeera. This is recent as of, again, it's midnight-ish. So the red section here is under the control of Russia. This is going to be the eastern part of Ukraine. I'm going to explain to you why the United States is packing so much money and so much military hardware over into Ukraine. I'm not a fan of it. Just throwing that out officially on record. I've done so before. I think we need to help the folks here at home. But it's a panic move by the United States of America. I think we have passed the point of a proxy war. And now the United States and other nations as well, but specifically the United States,
pay close attention. Pay very close attention to what he's about to say and show you on this map.
And here's why. The United States is heavily dependent upon imports from other countries to make our country go round, if you will. Some nations out there, India was the huge one. There have been some smaller ones that have been.
So let me jump up to about the 6-minute mark is when he starts breaking it down with the map.
They're going to totally lock this down. And they've already been filling their own.
Sons of bitches.
They say all good things.
There we go.
Own ships up with grain and.
Now let me go back a little bit so you can see. There, here we go. There we go.
This colored in area, kind of, sort of, is where all the grain comes from.
Yep.
In Ukraine. Okay, and not just the grain, but there's a lot of precious metals in this area as well. They normally export out via the Black Sea. Okay, so again, Russia is locking this down. Totally. They're going to.
And what you're also going to learn, too, is that the MSM, mainstream media, is completely lying about this. They're talking about all the Russian casualties and stuff like that. The real Russian army hasn't even started fighting yet. These are reserves and different, different groups, hirelings. The actual Russian army hasn't even started fighting yet. And for them to be taking so many losses, they sure have taken a whole lot of shit in Ukraine. All right, including the number one area he just blotted out where all the grain comes from. Okay, so think about that.
Totally lock this down. And they've already been filling their own ships up with grain and with precious metals, according to NATO satellite images. All right, so why is this important? Think about this for a second. Why would Russia care more about, if that's true, hoarding the grain and the precious metals right now than they would taking the rest of Ukraine? Well, number one, if you take all of the ports here, you stop Ukraine's ability to export food to the rest of the world. So
basically, all NATO countries, including America. So when they've been warning you about this grain thing, we're gonna run out of wheat. About 2 weeks ago they said 10 weeks, so we're looking at 8 weeks or less now. It's real. They're about to be serious food problems in America to the point it's gonna escalate into violence, into utter chaos. All right, when people realize, and they're not gonna, and like he's gonna mention, they're not gonna just advertise this on the news. They're gonna give you more lies and more distraction stories. All right, or give you something to try to blame it on. All right, so NATO countries are not as strong as you think they are. All right, and they're not going to be able to feed their feed their people. So all our reserves are going to go to the military for the war effort, like same way they've done in the past. They commandeer the food from the people to feed the soldiers.
Basically starve the world out. Grain's a huge deal in terms of the food here. So
Putin's not as mad and as crazy as they're trying to make him out to be. He's actually a military genius, man, at this point. You know, they don't want, because who would, let's just take your nationality out of it, all right? Whether you're American or you're Westerner or you're European, whatever. Look at it as if it were a board game, all right? If you were playing a board game, all right, and you were going to choose your military leader, would you really choose Joe Biden over Putin? Yeah, I didn't think so.
And this is why NATO's been throwing the red flag. NATO last week said that there were 10 weeks of reserve grain worldwide, and then they don't know what to do. I mean, they're admitting it out in the open. We don't know what to do. We can't, the fake stuff, they can't even produce it fast enough.
So they got fake grain. You wonder why processed food already has everybody with high blood pressure and heart disease. So now you got fake grain. The NATO and the Western government does not care about its citizens at all. It's all about the elites. All right? And this is actually doing two things. This is thinning out the herd because they really do want depopulation. So this war and this upcoming famine, along with all the unholy juice that they've given people, it's their plan is working. So it seems to them. The Lord has different plans for them, but let's let them continue.
Now they have 9 weeks left. The grain that is being produced, Russia's now loading onto ships, and it's going where? We have no idea, because, again, they have it blockaded. So precious metals are also being taken away from Ukraine at this point in time. Why would you hoard grain and precious metals? I have the answer. The answer is a world war. They are prepping for a world war.
That's right.
They realize a World War III is imminent, and they're trying to get their war chest ready, if you will. They want to make sure their soldiers do not starve. They want to make sure that they have the metals that they need to produce machines of war, weapons of war. The United States knows this. NATO knows this, and they're trying to figure out what to do. It's a catch-22 for them. They cannot go into Ukraine because that's going to start a world war. They know this, and NATO is not prepared for it. They may say they're prepared,
and they're not. It's clear and evident that they're not. Because why? Because these Edomites are not fit to rule, and the Lord is showing you that. The Lord is literally putting it on the hearts of these men to make these stupid mistakes to destroy themselves.
Okay, there are agendas at play, I promise you, but I think there's more than one. I think one group is following the agenda. They want to get there by 2030. Some very powerful people, and they want total control. I think you have another group of countries that are not interested, and they're using military force now to secure.
Matter of fact, that brings to mind the scripture, because there is infighting among the power structures up top, and that makes me think of this one. I think it's Revelation 12:12. Yeah, it's Revelation 12:12, and it reads, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time." And that's the problem. You got these within this group of people that are doing all these things. You got them who are abandoning the slow motion gradualism, which, the men of the great millstone from the apostles on down have been warning you on the internet since 2007. Right? And the gradualism that has been used against the world population, against the citizens of Babylon and around the world, of the beast system. The gradualism they're abandoning and they're doing things fastly, which is why they're moving too fast, which is why they're making so many mistakes and being exposed. Almost every time an event happens on TV, a distraction event that they'll call a terrorist attack or whatever, starting with the event in 2000, the whole, the 2001 thing, the 911 thing. It's more holes in these things than Swiss cheese. All right, these things, they're never solid, and that's why you have so many so-called conspiracy theories, as they call them, because none of the facts never add up. They never add up. Then they have a problem with it when you ask certain questions, and so and then they, like you said, they use that word conspiracy as a weapon to just to discredit an individual or group of people.
The food in order for the original 2030 plan to fall to pieces. And I do think this is going to lead to world war. Either way, folks, it's not good. From a consumer standpoint, it's not good, because when this happens, and again, they say 9 weeks, we may not have that long. We may not have until the end of summer when this stuff starts to run out.
And I hope so. Let it happen.
And I'm gonna roll the dice here a little bit, if you will. I'm gonna take a gamble on this, and I'm gonna say, as it begins to run out.
Look at you, taking care of yourself, eating delicious Halo Top ice cream, and doing goat yoga.
They're not just going to announce on television, hey, we're out of food.
That's right.
Because they know this is going to spawn instant chaos. I think as the food begins to run out,
it's going to be extremely violence in the streets. This is and to try to retain food, if you have it, or trying to go get food, your life is going to be in danger. And cannibalism is going to come back. People are actually going to become food. All right. This is 2 Ezra 15-19, and it reads, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword." So the modern day weapon, the sword, is the gun. But people are literally going to use actual swords, machetes, knives, hammers, baseball bats, tire irons. It's going to get, apocalyptic out here. All right. And it says they shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. The scriptures are no joke, man. The grain is going to bring on a lack of bread.
They're going to try and find another reason, another distraction, because distractions are all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Another cover story to begin lockdowns and restricting movement so people can't figure this out. There's a serious problem with the food. If you have not been stacking food, this may be the last time we cover it in this kind of detail, but if you have not been stacking food, please start stacking food.
And then they're going to use these incidents when people are starving and have lost family members and friends, that have actually resulted to cannibalism and all sorts of madness. They're going to offer what they're going to do is they're going to offer you a recipe to bring everything back to normal. And that's going to be simply to take, the MOTB, the thing that's talked about in Revelation, the 13th chapter toward the end. So with that, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, Wa Abba Babal, Kwam Yasharala Shalom.